Well, hello everybody, and welcome back for kind of another fun ranty video. And this is going to be about the three most hated, most feared, most dreaded words in real estate if you are a buyer. And those words are highest and best. So before we get started, just a little bit of a ground rule. We are talking about something involving negotiation. Unless you are one of our current clients, I am not your agent. So this is very general, out there advice. This is not necessarily advice for your particular situation that you find yourself in. If you would like me to be your agent, absolutely reach out and we can talk about doing that. And then I can give you specific advice related to your situation. Okay, good. We got that out of the way. What is highest and best and what does it mean? Well, highest and best is basically what happens when a seller receives multiple offers and they don't want to give people a specific numbers. For example, if the house is listed for $1 million and you offered $1.1 million or $900,000, instead of coming back and saying, hey, give us 1.1 million, they're going to say, you know what? Nope. Give us your highest and best. It's a way to sort of create and encourage a bidding war. This is great for sellers, not very much fun for buyers, but it doesn't have to be a losing situation if you're a buyer. So there's a couple things we're going to talk about in ways to sort of handle this situation should you receive a counteroffer that says highest and best. And just to tell you how important this is, of the last 4 buyers that we've gotten into escrow, 3 of those transactions involved highest and best. So I'm going to tell you how we handle it and what we do. So the number one thing that you need to do, or that your agent should be doing, hopefully, and if your agent's not doing this and you'd like an agent who is doing this, definitely reach out. It's gather information. So you're flying blind. If you see highest and best, that is just like saying, they might as well say, tell us the maximum you're willing to pay, which is pretty much exactly what they are saying, right? You need to have some context and some information. So there's some things that is totally okay to ask about in the situation. You can ask how many offers were received, right? If it's only 2 offers, that's different than if you've received 20 offers, right? The other thing you can ask in this situation, and you won't always get an answer, but I always ask it is, are any of the other offers cash? Are they cash buyers? Are any of the other offers contingent buyers, meaning they have to sell their home before they can buy this one? This is important information to know because number one, you're not only looking to see how competitive is this property, but you also want to learn about who is your competition. The second thing you need to do is you need to gather information about what the seller wants. Now, hopefully, this was done before you wrote your offer. Do they need a rent back? Do they want to stay? What is important to them? This is the art of listening. And a lot of agents are not very good at listening. They're good at talking. They're not good at listening. And the reason why is a lot of times the agent representing the seller will give out clues. For example, on a recent transaction, the agent said, the sellers are finding this process very overwhelming. And when I hear that, that means they want clear and simple, and that those kind of sellers, they might even take a lower dollar amount for an offer that is clean and simple and easy to understand. So you want to listen and gather that information. The second thing that you want to do is you want to become the most favored buyer. Now, what does the most favored buyer mean? It means that you want to be the offer and the buyers that the seller is rooting for, that the seller's agent is rooting for. So that means even if you are not necessarily the highest price, you want to be the offer they like the best. And this is very important because when you submit your answer to highest and best, you might not be the highest, right? You may give this a great shot and you might be off by, we'll say, $5,000. And in that situation, if you are the most favored buyer, remember, you have to look at this from the seller's point of view. What do they want? They want their favorite buyer and they want the most money. Even if you are not the highest bidder to come back, a lot of times, not every time, but many times, the sellers will come back to you and say, if you can come up to X, like another $5,000 or $6,000, the house is yours. And you want to be in that position. That is the goal in a multiple bidding situation, is that even if you are not the highest, that they will come back to you because they want you to get the house for other factors in your offer. Okay. So now that we've outlined what you should be doing, we're going to talk about something you might have heard about, you might have read about, and that is something called the escalation clause. And I have very mixed feelings as an agent about the escalation clause. I think there is a time and a place where they are useful. And an escalation clause is simply this: instead of coming back with a number, so if they say, give us your highest and best, you don't come back and say $1.1 million. Instead, you come back and say, we will pay $10,000 more than the next highest offer, up to a limit of $1.1 million. And these clauses can backfire on you, right? Like this is not a tool to use in every situation. In fact, it's a tool to use in a very limited number of situations, in my opinion. And that limited situation is when you have a ton of offers, the house was ridiculously underpriced, it's unusual, it's hard to comp, nobody knows where it's going to end up, and you feel like this house is your destiny and you simply must have it, but you want to make sure you're not grossly overpaying for it more than anybody else. The other ingredient that's required to use an escalation clause is you really have to know and trust the agent working for the sellers, because there are a lot of ways for this to be abused, and there are a lot of situations where it wouldn't work out well. So, we have a lot of clients who say, I read about an escalation clause. Let's do that. That sounds great. A lot of times it's not the right move. Most of the time it is not the right move. Every once in a while, I probably used it 4 times in my career when we have won an offer and it has worked out, but it was the right tool for the job then. So if you see highest and best, do not fret, do not fear. Yes, this means there are multiple bids. Yes, this means it's an auction, but guess what? One of those people is going to get the house, and there's no reason that it can't be you if you just follow a couple simple guidelines to gather extra information and become the most favored buyer. If you can do that, your chances are pretty good. And if you'd like to learn more how to do that, you'd like to work with us, absolutely reach out to us. Our geographic area is Southern California, Orange, and Los Angeles counties. We would be happy to give you our expertise. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Tomorrow we'll be coming out with an architectural video on our channel here, so absolutely keep an eye out for that. Questions, comments, as always, we love them, and we'll see you again real soon.